Greetings. Welcome to the Osha Cerese Show. Let me get this right, y'all. It's been one of them days. There we go. Welcome to the Osha Cerese Show. I am your host, Osha Cerese, and I am super excited to be here with you all. This is your daily reset. This is where headlines meet healing and where we use alchemy to transmute gossip into growth. So it's all about getting into what's happening, what's trending, and seeing what lessons we can pull from it. So I am live here on, I want to make sure, hold up now. I want to make sure we straight here on Instagram. I'm on IG and I'm on YouTube. If you are not subscribed to my channel, you need to go ahead and do that now. Okay. I wasn't live on Instagram, but we live now. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, you need to go ahead and tap in youtube.com/at Osha Cerese. And the link is in my bio. If you don't want to type it in, you can just click a button. So welcome again to the Osha Cerese Show. This is your midday, usually midday, but this week is just a pop-up show, your daily reset. And we talking about all things that are trending and just having conversations around healing, self-love, self-discovery, and intentional dating. So this is day 10 of me eating raw vegan and juicing. This juice right here is just a mixture. I just had some juice in the refrigerator. I got like 5 mason jars of juice. I mixed in some apple ginger juice, some beet juice that has beets. What else is in that beet juice? Beets, ginger. Y'all gonna have to go back to the previous episode when I drank some beet juice because I don't remember what I put in there. I know some apples in here, carrots. I think that's it. Beets, apple, carrots, lime, ginger. And then I also have a little bit of the watermelon, strawberry, basil juice. So I just mix it all in. Let's taste it and see how it tastes. Cheers to great health, happiness, love, and abundance. Okay. Mixes very well and it kind of matches my lips. Greetings, those of you who are watching on Instagram. I see your comments. Again, this is my daily show. This month, I committed to popping up, going live every day. So eventually, this is going to be a daily show that's happening throughout the week. But this month, since I made the commitment, I'm here every day. This is going to be a casual week because I got a lot of things going on this week. So forgive me if it's not as structured as per usual, because this is day 10. So I've dropped several shows. Make sure you go look at them. They're up on YouTube. They're not posted on Instagram. You just got to catch me live. I'm working on some edits and things like that. So just give me some grace. Everything is flowing and it's going well. So I appreciate those who have been supporting so far. And let's just get right into it. So this is February. As we all know, it's Black History Month. And we are 4 days away from Valentine's Day as well. So this month, so far, I've been highlighting Black love and history, and not just Black love, romantic love. It started out with that intention for Black love, romantic love, but I found out that we actually have our own Black Love Day, which is February 13th. And the 5 tenets of that include romantic love, of course, but love of source, love of self, love of community, love of Black people, and included in that is all different types of love. So I highlighted just the other day Shannon Sharpe and his brother Sterling, how beautiful that exchange was when Shannon announced Sterling's induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So that's what we're doing here on this Black History highlight or spotlight. And today, because we are still in the energy of yesterday's Super Bowl halftime performance, I wanted to highlight 2 Black men and their wives and their marriages and their accomplishments. Just a few little fun facts. The first one being Samuel L. Jackson. If you did not watch the halftime performance yesterday, Samuel L. Jackson played Uncle Sam. He moderated or narrated the whole performance. He, you know, played that position of our country and how they want us to be a certain way, fit in a certain box, stay in a certain lane, play the game. And how when Kendrick was being, very loud and upfront and out there with his message and his music choices, how it's like, do you know how to play the game? Tighten up. And when he was calm and singing the R&B songs, and the message was soft, even though he was saying the same type of messages, but it was in a calm, nice way. It's like, okay, now you got it. So they did beautifully with the whole performance. But let's shine a little light on Samuel L. Jackson and his marriage. So, we represent Black love. He and his wife, LaTanya, met while attending Morehouse College here in Atlanta back in 1970. In 1980, they tied the knot. And in the 1990s, during a challenging period when Samuel L. Jackson battled addiction, LaTanya stood by his side, playing a pivotal role in his recovery. In 2020, they celebrated their 40th wedding anniversary and 50 years together. And they have a daughter, Zoe. And some of Samuel L. Jackson's career highlights. We all know that he is a prolific actor. He has been in over 150 films. He's the second highest grossing actor of all time, with his films collectively earning billions worldwide. And some of his iconic roles: Jules Winfield in Pulp Fiction, Nick Fury in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We know he played in Django. He played in Snakes in a Plane. He played in all type of movies. Name it, he probably been in it. And then Kendrick Lamar's marriage. Let me see, are they married? They're engaged. Him and his woman have been dating since high school. They're high school sweethearts. Her name is Whitney Alford. And they spent a lot of their high school years together in Compton, California. And in April of 2015, Kendrick announced their engagement. The couple has 2 children, a daughter named Uzi, born in 2019, and a son named Enoch, whose birth was subtly, ooh, Lord, was low-key announced on his cover art, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers in 2022. Lord, it's been one of them days, y'all. So he and his woman, she was the one that was sea-walking in the Not Like Us video. And some of Kendrick's career highlights: he released his first mixtape at the age of 16 under the name K-Dot. And then he had his breakthrough album was Good Kid, Mad City, and MAAD City in 2012. His other albums, To Pimp a Butterfly, which came out in 2015, and Damn 2017. I think that's when I started really getting into his music around that time. It received definitely worldwide acclaim, and he earned a Pulitzer Prize in 2018 for Damn. And that makes him the first rapper to ever receive this honor. And in 2025, we all know he headlined the Super Bowl. And I believe that made him the first hip-hop artist to have that, like a solo hip-hop artist to have that opportunity as well. So he's making history left and right. I saw somebody say that, the fact that he won all these Grammys for Not Like Us, he could also be in the running to possibly win an Emmy for the performance. And somebody put, like, let's make him an EGOT winner, Emmys, Grammys, Oscar, Tony. He would have to, get on Broadway with it. I don't know. They're going to do a Not Like Us musical. I don't know what they're going to do with that. But the fact that he has a Pulitzer Prize, I think they said like there's a such thing as a PGOT, and that's super rare. So somebody that has all of those, maybe he will have that one day. You never know. So I just wanted to briefly come on and talk. There are so many different dissertations and just write-ups about what is going on with his performance. And some of the things I just want y'all to go find for yourself, because it's just a rabbit hole of symbolism. It was beautifully done. Like every time you look on your timeline, it's something new that comes up. It's, on the surface level, you see the things that are kind of obvious, like the red, white, and blue, the American flag, the fact that Serena Williams was sea walking, the subtle things that you see that were obvious to the first glance and just watching the performance. But the way people are pulling out all of the subliminal messages and the symbolism, I am very impressed by so many people that have been able to take the time to find out what's really going on with these messages. So some of them that I wanted to talk about, let me see here. So one that I thought was very interesting that I actually just saw, let me see if I saved it. So this one, I haven't seen anybody else mention but this lady, but I kept noticing the fact that he had this single diamond brooch on his hat that looked like a wing. And I was wondering what that was all about. I didn't do my own due diligence to read up on it. But she says this is from Angeli Caray, ANGELICARAY. Maybe it's Angel. I think it's Angeli Caray on Threads. She said that it was, I'm going to just read it verbatim. She said he was literally embodying Hermes / Mercury, the ruler of Gemini. He is a Gemini, and the messenger of the gods. In mythology, Hermes was the god of communication, duality, and trickery, the one who could move between realms, delivering messages from the divine. Sound familiar? Kendrick has always been a master of duality. He speaks to the streets and the scholars, the spiritual and the secular. He plays the villain and the savior. And here he is standing on one of the biggest stages, adorned with the symbol of the divine messenger in a performance alive with allegory. We're no longer in the realm of entertainment, and nothing is on accident. Everything is coded with intention. And somebody else added something else. They said yesterday we had a Mercury chasmi. Don't know what that is, but they gave the definition. In the cycle of any planet, a chasmi, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, is a crucial moment. It occurs when a planet forms an exact conjunction with the sun, initiating a new cycle. So the word chasmi is derived from an Arabic phrase meaning in the heart of the sun. It is here within Soul's temple that new missions are seated. So like, when I tell you every time I turn around, there's a new discovery of the symbolism that was in this. And that's why Kendrick is a Pulitzer Prize winner, recipient, I should say. There were some deep messages that I've seen from, somebody in white shaking hands with somebody in red, right as he's mentioning government, symbolizing the elite making deals with the right, with the conservatives. And then it went all the way down to some symbolism about Drake with, I can't pronounce the rapper's name that passed away, XXXTentacion, something like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But I went down a rabbit hole with that. So it's like there were so many things. There was a song that he did that mentioned like so many different titles from other rap songs. It's just like endless discoveries with this. So this is like super deep. It's not just what we see when we first looked at it. It's something that we can continue to pull apart. So that's what I loved about it. Um, even the guy that was like on the scene in the scene where his homeboys are behind him, they kind of, I think that was a nod to the hyphy movement from the Bay Area. At first, when I first looked at it, I thought it was like a Cash Money thing. I'm thinking like that was looking like Weezy and them from back in the day, the Hot Boys. But then when I rewatched it and looked at some other articles about it, I'm like, okay, they represented the hyphy movement. There's somebody at the top of the light pole. Even the fact that the light pole was there, and people say, you know, it represented something about being home before the lights go. The light, y'all know what I mean. The light come on. Um, the street lights. The fact that the man was at the top, you could see his shadow at the bottom. Somebody was talking about how it represents, like the shadow was in the same shape as the hangman card in tarot, and how that represents. Let me not misquote it. But the tarot card represents illness, prophecy, sacrifice, transition, uncertainty, waiting, and imprisonment. And some of the positives of the card is spiritual development, gifted diviners, having to wait, transitions, improved divination, and psychic ability. And some of the negatives are, can't read that because it's flagged online. Um, Prison sentences, ill health, uncertain outcomes, and playing the waiting game. But if you look, I'm gonna see if I can show you how the shadow of the man is. This is how the card looks, the tarot card. Let me see if I can show you the man's shadow. So this is the man up here on top of the light pole. And this is his shadow. I don't know if y'all can see that with my light, but it's literally in the same shape as the hangman. So I don't know if, I mean, I feel like everything is intentional. I was gonna say I don't know if it was intentional or not, but everything is intentional. Who knows? It's just too much to even. It's just so much. So that song that Kendrick has that has all these song titles. It's squabbled up. So if you look up Miss Hannigan, Hannigan on Threads, you'll see that they put up, I don't want to get flagged with the music, but they put up all the song titles that's in this song. It's almost like he wrote it based on all these song titles. So just his artistry, for those that weren't already into him, like, how can you not be now? I feel like there was a lot of naysayers saying that it was whack, but those who get it, those who don't. So that's all I say about that. Oh, and then even with I mentioned the sea walk with Serena yesterday, kind of being in response to Drake harassing her and bullying her after their breakup or whatever, talking about her marriage and all that. But I didn't realize that she got fined and criticized for sea walking at the Wimbledon. I remember her sea walking there, but I didn't know that it was a big deal. I thought that was just one of those moments. I didn't realize that she was scrutinized behind that. So even her being able to do that, that was not only like rebellion to the system, but also a message of protecting Black women. Like it can just go so many places. So I invite you and encourage you to read the articles that come up. I'm intentionally not going into all the depths. I just wanted to read some of the things that I hadn't seen many people talking about, but take some time to read some of these articles and listen to the message, because It was a call to action. It was a warning. It was a um the revolution was televised. What can I say? So I do encourage you to do your own research. I'm not gonna sit here and give it all out because everybody else is doing it. So just get into it and learn something and open up your mind. Stop trying to just be entertained. We're entertained all the time. Entertainment is always available to us, and usually it's when it's on these big stages, it is used as a distraction. So if somebody is trying to educate you while simultaneously entertaining you, it's not just like what's his name, Donald Glover, what's his rap name, um what is his rap name? I am having a brain fart today. Donald Glover is Childish Gambino. Childish Gambino song "This Is America." Like, y'all giving me that video energy. Like, you just want to be entertained while it's all kind of shit going on. Like, let's wake up. I know we tired of. I mean, the end of the song, Kendrick, or the end of the performance, Kendrick said, "Turn the TV off," and turned it. So I get it, not wanting to be consumed with all the things that's going on and the realities and the things we are being distracted from, and the media and the propaganda and all of that. But we do have to be informed, and again, open your mind to wanting more than just to shuck and jive. Like, figure out what's being said to you. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Right, Z, game over. So I just wanted to also come on here and tell y'all, because I've been letting y'all know I'm about to start getting back into hosting more singles events, more speed dating events. It's been about a month and a half, 2 months since I've hosted one. But this Wednesday, if you are local to Atlanta, make sure you pull up on me and find you a Valentine. Valentine's Day is Friday. What is it? Saturday or Friday? Valentine's Day is Friday. Black Love Day is Thursday. Wednesday, you can get you a boo for Black Love Day, or a uh, Valentine's Day, or Valentine for Valentine's Day. So if you are in the Atlanta area, come pull up to Atlantucky. It is in Atlanta near the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I guess it's near the what's the name of the Castleberry Hill area. And 7 to 9, we're going to be doing speed dating. But show up at 5. The event is from 5 to 10. It's Vegan and Friends. Vegan and Friends, 5 to 10. There's going to be plenty of good food. There's vendors there. You possibly get you a massage if the massage man is there. Sometimes they have the man doing iridology readings where he can look at your eyes and tell you everything you need to work on in your body, what your health issues are, mind, body, and spirit. They have bingo where you can win some amazing prizes. Let me see what prizes they have Wednesday. I'm already ahead because I'm thinking about what I got to do tomorrow. Let's see what bingo prizes they have for y'all. Have they announced them yet? I thought I saw some. I don't see the prizes announced yet, but some of the prizes they have are really good. Oh, I know where I saw it, in my email. So let's see. Let's see what kind of prizes they got for y'all for bingo. Okay, for this week, some of them will be sponsored by Life Bistro. So that's the only thing I can give you right now. Just stay tuned to Vegan and Friends page for the rest of the announcements. But Life Bistro is a really good restaurant. They have alkaline vegan options. They have your traditional vegan options. and it is like a fine dining, vegan fine dining. So it's a nice place for date night. You can go there for lunch. They got great lunch options. I've ordered their lunch, and it's Black owned. And yeah, so that's one thing you can do. They also have karaoke. So if you want somewhere to vibe after work or midday to, just meet new people, network, have a good time, get into some positive energy, Vegan and Friends is a great event. And again, that's 5 to 10, and we'll be upstairs from 7 to 9 doing speed dating. So as soon as you walk in the doors, you go to your right and head up the stairs, and I'll be there to greet you, to help you find your Valentine. And hopefully it's more than a Valentine. Maybe it's your forever boo. So come through. And if you are wanting to get into more of my events that are more curated, and you are interested in joining the Intentional Love Collective, it is a growing community, a growing database that is helping me to help you find love in 2025. It is for the intentional daters. It is for the hopeful romantics. If you are tired of swiping, I just went through my I've been on Facebook dating lately, right? I gave y'all some story times on that. I've been off of Hinge for a while, but I got a notification, so I was like, let me go look on Hinge. I just did some swiping through Hinge. I don't know what's going on in dating, but I will say with the online dating, I've noticed, and I'm going to do a connections and conversations episode about this, but I'm gonna just talk about this a little bit. I don't know, and I've talked about it before, but it's something that's going on with dating, and it's specifically going on with online dating. Folks ain't talking about nothing. The art of conversation has been lost, and the effort is low. I don't know if it's just because it's a numbers thing, because I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. When I look at my homeboys who are single, or when they were single, when I've been around them and I've seen them scrolling through or swiping through their options on dating apps, they're swiping so many women that they want to connect with because they are attracted to them or they like something that they're talking about, that they literally run out of swipes, because apparently these apps have a limit on how many times you can swipe in a day. I've never ran out of swipes because I've never been able to swipe on that many people that I'm interested in to the point where I'm tapped out of them. So the ones that I have swiped on, y'all not talking about nothing. And I am not the only one that feels this way, and men feel this way too. I've been hearing men complaining about women lacking conversation, and I don't think I don't want to blame it on. I'm not so sure that it's a thing about people don't have conversation anymore. I think it's just we don't know. We've lost the art of communicating with the online stuff. So like being online, usually you're going to small talk for a few days, maybe. I think small talk should be done with after day 2. Really, when we're in day 2, it should start being a little bit more intentional with the conversation. But let's say it lasts 2 to 3 days. I think people have a hard time on where to go from there. So it's like you start off with, hey, how you doing? Or, a man might say something complimentary about your pictures. Oh, you have great pictures, beautiful pictures, you're pretty, whatever, whatever. How was your day? Thank you. My day was well. I did this, this, and that. How was yours? Oh, it was good. So sometimes they will hit you with a follow-up question. It was good. I'm trying to think what I'm usually getting. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like it usually stops after that. There's been literally conversations where it goes like that, and then it's like, oh, my day is good. I did this. So my personal rule and boundary for myself with my experience on dating apps, I got a 2-question rule. If you leave the question or the answer closed, I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. Okay, where are you from? If you just answer, I guess I got a one question rule, because if you just answer with the answer and you don't hit me with a follow-up question, that's all I got. So I will leave it at that if you answer and then you don't elaborate. And I don't have anything else to say. So it's up to that man to restart the conversation. So I'm wondering, is it that people really don't know how to have conversation or talk, or is it just people don't know how to pivot from the small talk and upgrade to more intentional conversation? So I don't really like to take the lead in that because I want to see what you got, but I have taken the lead where I might ask a question that will give us a little bit more opportunity to kind of get to know our personalities, or something like that. And then even some of the apps have icebreaker conversations where you can get into a deeper conversation, or kind of give you a little boost. I feel like small talk for a day and a half, intentional conversation, getting to know each other a little bit more. And then most of the apps have audio messages, so we can send back and forth audio messages. And then some of the apps now have it so you can video chat. So by the time we on day 3 or 4, we should be to a place where if we're both intentional, we should be on a video chat. And then from there, if the chemistry is nice, then we can exchange numbers and then we can schedule a meetup. But it's not going like that. So I think the apps have a lot to do with it, because when I'm hosting these speed dating events, people are having so much good conversation that they don't want to switch when it's time to switch. I'm like, all right, y'all, time's up. It's time to rotate. And people do not want to move because they're having great conversations. So if you're watching this live or if you're watching the playback, let me know your experience between online dating or conversing with somebody. Maybe you're having conversations in DMs versus meeting somebody in person, or maybe you met them and you exchange numbers right away, so you're getting to know each other on the phone versus through an app, basically texting. No, that's I'm like, what is that in my drink? One of my juices that I made had mint and basil in it, so it's a mint leaf floating around in here. So I'm saying all this to say that I think that you should be there. You should pull up to the speed dating event on Wednesday if you're tired of having these sorry ass, small talk ass conversations on these apps, because you need to be somewhere where people are intentional. If they're participating in an event like a singles mixer or a speed dating event, there's some people that say, oh, I'm just like dating for fun right now, but they have the intention to meet people and get to know someone. And some people are there with real intentions to find their partner. So zdog.official on IG says that's the difference between in-person and online. It's easier to be misunderstood or say the wrong thing online. I agree, but I definitely agree. I feel like we need to do something about this, because we're in 2025. It's a digital world. We meet people online. These apps are there for a reason. I'm thinking we need to make an app. Do they have a dating app where there is no texting back and forth? Like, audio message me, baby. They need a clubhouse or a fan base for dating. And you know what? I was actually supposed to start my fan base audio room last Friday. That was my intention. I'm starting an audio room on Fanbase called the Hopeful Romantic Exchange. We'll see. I might start it on Valentine's Day, because whoever's going to be there to listen are going to be the ones that we ain't have no Valentine's, so we ain't out on a date. So it might be the perfect time. So you might have to catch me on Fanbase on Fridays for that, because we need to get back to being able to. I like to hear voices, bring back sexy voices. I I think, you can just feel people out a little bit more when it comes to going back and forth with audio versus this text back and forth. ZDog.official says, good people are more respectful in person. Online folks looking for immediate results. Interesting. Is that what men are looking is that what men are looking for? Immediate results when you do online dating? And Z-Dog says, oh Lord, sounds like possible one night stands. What sounds like possible one night stands? But yes, I want y'all to pull up if you're in the Atlanta area. If you're not in the Atlanta area, whether you are or not, you need to be on the Intentional Love Collective database. If you do not know what that is a growing community and database that I'm creating so that I could be able to match people more appropriately and have mixers that are curated with people who you're actually interested in, attracted to. They're your type. They have shared values, shared interests. If you want to be included on this, if you're a hopeful romantic, if you're an intentional dater, comment or DM me Intentional Love, or you can email me at oshacerese@gmail.com. That's OSHACERESE at gmail.com. OSHACERESE@gmail.com. Speed dating on Valentine's Day. Someone's looking for a good time. Well, Valentine's Day is Friday. The speed dating event is Wednesday. So I don't think it's necessarily looking for a good time. That may be some people's intentions, but it's up to the daters to vet. It's very important that you know how to vet people and finding out what it is that you are both wanting and intending to do. If you decide that that's your Valentine, that don't mean that you got to go have a meeting in my bedroom. It could mean that you go on a date or have a nice dinner, or just do something fun. Maybe you just go on a walk together on Valentine's Day and y'all call each other y'all Valentine. Maybe he brings her a little rose, maybe a teddy bear. Nothing too big, nothing too crazy, but And speaking of vetting, I'm going to do more shows on vetting, but I just want to talk about how important it is to vet again, because I talked about it last week when it came to the situation that I had from Facebook dating when the guy first conversation was the last conversation. If you want to listen back to it, I want to say I talked about it. It was so crazy. I talked about it twice. I didn't even realize it. I think I might have mentioned it on episode, let's see. Excuse me. I think I mentioned this story time on episode 3, I think. Episode 3 and probably episode 7 or 8. But definitely check it out. I talked about this crazy story time situation that I have for Facebook dating. But also vetting is important for men as well. I'm going to have an episode about this on connections and conversations soon. But just to give you a little snippet, I've had some close friends who have complained about going out with a woman and spending a whole bunch of money on them on the first date and not really being satisfied with the date or the woman. Z-Dog said he's moving over to YouTube. All right, see you over here. And I asked him, I asked this particular friend that recently experienced this. I've had a couple friends that have experienced this, but recently I asked my homeboy, how many times did you talk to this woman before you went out and spent this money? And I believe it was just like a couple of back and forth text messages, maybe a conversation or two. And then he ended up planning the date, but last minute when he picked her up, I think she said she didn't like what was at the place that they went to, or she might have been allergic. So she found another place. And the place that she found was not, it was in his budget because he has money, but it was not in what he was trying to spend for that particular date. Long story short, they ended up going to several places in one night, and he spent about $400. But I feel like that could have been avoided with proper vetting. Proper vetting, also um, boundary setting, because if he would have took the time to get to know her a little bit better, to see where her head is, what her intentions are, what type of energy she's bringing, feel her out a little bit, see what type of shared interest they had, that maybe it didn't have to be a dinner date or something like that. Maybe it could have been an activity or something more interactive to get to know each other, that's not requiring sitting down and you don't know what type of um, you don't know what type of meal they're getting ready to order, how many drinks they're getting ready to order. And there's nothing wrong with spending money, because you're on the date as well. So you're there to enjoy the date too. You're not just spending the money on the woman. You're there to enjoy your evening and have her accompany you. And then we as women, we have to invest in a lot of things when it comes to dates too. Even if the man is paying for it, we got to make sure our hair, nails, makeup, outfit, perfume, whatever is on point as well. So we're investing too. But I feel like if he would have got to know her a little bit more, to be able to curate the date experience a little bit better, that was within what he wanted to spend. And then if he would have just put his foot down when she said, "Oh, let's go here," he could have said, let me took a moment to look at what was going on there and said, "No, I got a spot for us," and then took her where he wanted to go. Because at this point, this is not your girlfriend, this is not your wife, this is not somebody who you have to allow to um, take lead on the date. If you are the one that asked her out and you're pursuing her and you have certain expectations in mind as far as what you want to spend, handle it, lead the process, and come up with a different solution. So I just wanted to say that I feel like it's very important to vet and to get to know people and to be clear on what you're trying to do, because then if things happen and it doesn't go your way, it doesn't go how you expected it to turn out, you can't really be mad at the other party without taking accountability for what you could have done. So, and I told my homeboy this to his face. So I'm not talking behind his back, but I will have him as a guest on Connections and Conversations soon. I really could have, I can bring back Connections and Conversations and have it just like this on this virtual platform, but I really want to have these connections and conversations in person. That was really the initial purpose of Connections and Conversations, to get back into in-person conversations, meaningful conversations. So I'm working on that. I'm working on a space to host these conversations. So stay tuned. I have a lot of great topics coming up. This Osha Cerese Show is mainly just me, centered around my voice and my opinion and my coaching and different things like that. But Connections and Conversation is where I'm going to have the guests. And, this show may evolve as well to eventually have guests. But right now, you here with me. This is my perspective, my conversation. I want to hold space for others as well in this realm, but Connections and Conversations is where the community comes in, and it's all about bridging the gap between men and women. So I'm really looking forward to that coming back as well. So you heard it here first. I got a few things in line when it comes to these shows. I got the Osha Cerese Show, which is what you're on now. It's supposed to be a daily talk show, midday reset, but my schedule, literally as soon as I put up um, put out the show, my schedule switched. And I had some obligations that I have to do throughout the week. So I'm working on that to try to get this consistent. But then I also have Connections and Conversations coming back, and it's gonna be dope. Some conversations that I have lined up with some people, which is also going to be expanding into something else that I won't announce right now. And I also talked about the hopeful romantic exchange, which is going to be an audio room on fan base. So I'll keep you all informed about that. I'll see whether or not I'm going to do it on Valentine's Day to kick it off, but we'll see. But you know, I come to y'all with a little story time, and I've told this story before too, not on this show, but I don't know if it's still out there in the universe because my Facebook page was hacked and deleted a couple of years ago. So I think that story time might live on there or lived on there. But just because bringing back up the fact that I'm going to be hosting speed dating this Wednesday at Vegan and Friends, and somebody had commented like, "Oh, are the men vegan? Are there going to be vegan men there?" And most of the men and the women that are there are either vegan, vegetarian, or live some type of healthy lifestyle. But everybody is open and welcome to come. But it got me to thinking about dating as a vegan person. And, you know, I think most vegan people or people that follow a plant-based lifestyle, plant-based diet, we do dream and prefer to date someone who's also plant-based. We dream about it. We would prefer that. But some of us are still open. Like for me, I definitely would prefer it. It would be nice to have somebody that shares um that life that lifestyle with me, but it's not like a absolute deal breaker for me yet. It's not a deal breaker, so I have been open to it. But what is a deal breaker is if I'm dating somebody or giving someone an opportunity to pursue me and they're not vegan and they don't show any effort to accommodate the fact that I am vegan. So when it comes to dates, I even outside of dates, just family gatherings, hanging out with friends, all of that, I'm usually one of those people that just be like, we can go anywhere to eat. I'm gonna always be able to find me something off of the menu because I don't want to be picky. I don't want to make everybody else have to accommodate me because I'm the odd person out. Um, but it sure does make my heart sing when someone says, "No, let's go somewhere where there are lots of options for you because I can eat everything that you eat. You don't eat everything that I eat." So that really makes me feel seen and appreciated and accommodated. Even when it comes to holidays, like not having no options at people's houses is like, I'm gonna just stay home and make my own vegan Thanksgiving or whatever I'm doing. So anyway, when people accommodate that, it's really special. So when it comes to dating, if you're not gonna be a part of the lifestyle or open to it, at least put in the effort to make sure that I'm straight. So I've dated I would say the most recent person that I dated, he did very well with accommodating my diet restrictions. I think all of our dates actually were, I want to say all of our dates where there was food involved were at vegan places. I know that our first date was at a magic show. And that's what I meant by like finding an activity with, your shared values. And this particular man that I dated, he was a little younger than me. He was like a year and a half or 2 years younger than me. His theory with dating is he's gonna do he's gonna have a date doing something that he wants to do, and he'll invite a woman to accompany him. But he definitely will also consider what they have in common and things that they like. So he told me about the magic show, asked me if I wanted to come, and I'm into that. I thought it would be dope and fun. So we went to that, and then we went to Bar Vegan afterwards, listened to some music, vibe, had a drink or two, and ate, and that was cool. I think the next time we went to eat something, it was at he had looked up like a list of vegan restaurants, and I think the one that he chose, it was really far out. And when we got there, they were overwhelmed, they were understaffed, and they turned us away. And we were standing out there trying to figure something else out, and then they eventually told us to come back in. So that was an experience. And then I enjoyed the fact that he wasn't vegan, but he was open to trying it, and he was liking it. And then I think our last date was like at Desta. So I had a veggie plate. It's Ethiopian food, and he had whatever he wanted. It wasn't vegan, but just put in the effort to make sure that I have some options, not just I gotta sit here and eat fries while you eating a full course meal, or I gotta sit here and eat a raggedy salad. Because most places that aren't vegan, that don't have vegan options, their salads are not gonna be good once you strip everything away that they have in it, the meat, the dairy, the extra, the dressing. It's gonna be lettuce, maybe tomato, maybe cucumber, and you probably got to make a dressing like of lemon juice and oil and vinegar and some salt and pepper. So at least put in some effort. But my story time. So I was dating, let me see how we met. I had met this guy. I think now that I think about it, a lot of my online dating story, the guy I was just talking about, he was online dating match from Hinge. And he was cool. I'm not going to say that there was, it was any bad experiences with him. There were some things that I didn't necessarily like, but it wasn't bad. And we went our separate ways because we were on two different paths. But this particular guy, we had matched before. I don't know what came about it, but we ended up matching again on Bumble. And Bumble is the type of dating app where the woman has to initiate the conversation. So it puts a little pressure on us. We get a little taste of what men have to go through to initiate those conversations. But a lot of people prefer Bumble because, they like being able to initiate it, and the men like to not have to initiate. So we matched on Bumble. And I think everything went well as far as conversation within the app. We ended up exchanging numbers or whatever. And I think he pretty quickly got a date scheduled. And I think to that point, when people get on these apps and they start small talking and having conversations for weeks and weeks without planning a date, you're not dating intentional. You just on here trying to see who is down for whatever your motive is. Because if you were dating intentionally and your conversation would match that and your actions would match that message, your conversations and your actions would match that. And I think another thing is balancing too. I ain't gonna say balancing because you're not really balancing it well. Juggling too many different matches. So they're probably, maybe they're asking somebody else out this week and they haven't got around to you yet. So that's just my theory on that. But anywho, he scheduled a date. We ended up, it wasn't like the height of the pandemic, but it was probably like summer of 21 maybe. And I didn't go to any restaurants or I didn't eat out from March 2020 to March 2021. So by the time this date it might have been spring or early summer. I had just started eating at restaurants again, like pickup or takeout. But this was my first time sitting in a restaurant since the pandemic had started. And we went to I think it was a sushi restaurant. We went to a sushi restaurant. I had the vegan options were minimal, but I was able to get some veggie sushi, and I think I got some type of teriyaki plate that was veggies. The conversation was cool. It was decent. He was older. He was probably in his mid to late 40s. I don't know. And it was decent. Nothing to write home about, but not bad. I have been out of the dating field for a while. So the date went well. We hugged, whatever. He was already talking about a second date before we left. So he ended up reaching back out to me saying that he wanted to cook for me for our second date. Mind you, I'm not trying to go to nobody's house that quick. But because of the circumstances that we were still kind of within the pandemic, the first date went well. He was nice. And I really thought the gesture of wanting to cook for me was nice. I'm like, I'm vegan, right? He was like, yeah, I got you. So I'm feeling like, if you know that I'm vegan and you're offering to cook for me, you getting ready to impress me. Like, it's about to go down. Like, you're about to look up some stuff. You're about to try some recipes. This is an opportunity to really show out. So I should have known. I should have known by the lead up to the date, because he scheduled the date at a particular time at his house, sent me the address. So when I was on my way to his house, I think I called him, but he didn't answer. So he texted me and was like, I'm in a meeting, text me. And so I was like, oh, okay, I was just letting you know that I was on my way. So he didn't text back right away, but I was already en route. So I believe he called me and he's like, oh, you already on your way? I'm like, yeah, you told me to meet you at your house at such and such time, right? And he was like, okay, yeah, yeah, come on. And I ordered my food or something like that. So I'm gonna have to go pick my food up. And I was like, oh, okay. So I get to his neighborhood, try to find the house. I was lost, so I ended up calling him. It was probably close to an hour drive, maybe like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. When I walked, okay, he was irritating me from the I think it was downhill from the whole time, because when I first got there, I was irritated because I'm trying to find your house. Okay, boom. You give me the directions, I find it. I'm telling you, I'm here. I'm parking. If you know that I'm here and I've pulled up, you should already have the door open or already be prepared to let me in, because it's not like I just hopped right out as soon as I parked and ran up to the door. Like, you have ample amount of time for me to park and get up there. It was hot. We're in Georgia. I think it was in the summer. So I get to the door. I think I rang the doorbell. No response. Standing there, it's hot. I think I rang the doorbell again, no response. So I call him and he comes to the door and he's like, oh, the doorbell doesn't work. If you know the doorbell don't work and you know that I already pulled up, why aren't you here? Why aren't you right here opening the door? So whatever. The second thing that irritated me is when I hugged him, he was wet. So I'm thinking, are you covered in sweat? What's going on? I later found out he had just got out the shower, but I just didn't like the way it felt. Then when I got there, it just wasn't the vibe. It wasn't the vibe. His house didn't seem like it was accommodating for a woman. It seemed like a house that maybe he inherited from like a grandmother or something. It was giving old. It smelled like mothballs and just old and moldy. It was a big old hole in the ceiling. And I'm not judging that, as far as like, he owned his house, so that's dope. But it just didn't seem like it was very accommodating for somebody that you was saying, come through, I'm gonna cook for you. You would think that it would be put together. So anyway, I was a little irritated by that. Then he just wasn't that great of a host, because I'm like, oh, do you want, where do I sit? He's like, oh, you just sit right there. And so I'm thinking, I'm waiting for the aroma of vegan cuisine to meet my nose, and I don't smell anything. So I'm looking, and so he's in the kitchen, like, yeah, I'm about to cook your food, but I'm gonna have to go and get mine because I ordered mine. And I'm thinking, what you mean you about to have to go to get yours? Like, what am I supposed to? I don't know you like that. Like, I'm already taking a risk by coming to your house. We're, just now starting to get to know each other. But you're saying that you want to leave me here while you go get your food. Why didn't you order your food and have it delivered or have had it picked up before I got here? Like, this is a plan. This wasn't a impromptu meetup. So I walk over to the kitchen just to see what he's doing. And he's rambling through his cabinets like he's never even been in his own kitchen, looking for pots and pans and forks and all of this stuff. And I'm thinking, like, damn, does he live here? So he's rambling through pots and pans and all of this stuff. He pulls stuff out. Next thing I know, he's like, oh yeah, I got your food thawing out in the sink. So I'm like, what could possibly be in the sink unthawing? Because I'm picturing, like, maybe some, I don't know. I was picturing just like an amazing vegan creation. I don't know what I was thinking, but I just thought it was going to be super dope. So I go over to the sink, and it's a frozen bag of bird's eye stir fry. Maybe that, I mean, that was his effort. But I'm thinking, if you're going to make me some stir fry, get me some fresh broccoli and bell peppers and onions and, mushrooms. Give me some fresh stuff and saute it up with some oils and some seasoning. Accompany it on a bed of rice or some quinoa or something like that and hook it up. It was a bag of frozen bird's eye stir fry. And if you've ever seen that company, it's kind of like the type of frozen vegetables that you would put in a pot pie or something. This is not something that you would just want to eat as a full meal. Not me, at least. Or maybe it's something that you would put on the side of maybe like some mashed potatoes and some meat or something like that. But this is not something a vegan would look at as like, damn, this is about to be a bomb ass meal. But I was like, okay, this is what you got. Do you have any rice or anything to go with it? And he was like, oh, it's all in the bag. And I'm looking. So I pulled the bag up as it's thawing out in the sink. The whole bag is full of sink water. So not only has it unthawed, but there's a hole in the bag somewhere and it's full of sink water. And all I can think of is this man probably washes chicken in the sink. He obviously washes his dishes in the sink. I'm sure he didn't clean the sink out good enough for me to be feeling comfortable eating a bag of vegetables that's full of this sink water. So I was like, I can't eat this. I just have to tell him. So he was like, well, no, let me rewind. Because before all of this, before I discovered this, when I came over to the kitchen, he actually was like, yeah, so I could just probably go run and get my food. And if you want, you can just come in and do yours. I got it unthawing. He was like, here's the pot. There's the oil. There's the spatula. And I was like, wasn't the whole purpose of me coming over here was for you to cook for me? And now you're giving me the instructions to cook my own meal and you're about to leave. So that's what it was. So the whole date that he presented to me was null and void, because not only did he change his mind about cooking for me, the food that he's cooking that he had for me is not it's not edible to me. It's inappropriate to even present to me, honestly. So anyway, I'm like, I'm not eating this. I can't eat this. So he's like, well, I gotta go get my food. So I don't know what you think, you want to order something or what. So I was like, why don't I just come with you when you go pick up your food, and then we can just pick me up something while we're out. And he's like, oh, okay, that's cool. So we left. We went to go pick up his food, and there was like things that was going on the ride to the restaurant that was getting on my nerves. Like, he was talking about people, talking about this man who had a little dog, and he was like, oh, he got that little dog, he this, he that. And I'm just like, why are you worried about him? So it was little things. Then he was driving reckless. That's one of my deal breakers. He was driving crazy. I don't deal with reckless, aggressive drivers. So that was automatically, I was already done. Then when we get to the restaurant, he goes in. He's in there for like 45 minutes, and I'm just sitting in the car. So I'm thinking, if you ordered your food back when you told me you did, when I was still en route to your house, like 40 minutes away, and I've been at your house for a good 40 minutes, and the food is still not ready, something ain't right. Somebody ain't telling the truth. I think he probably said he ordered it, but he didn't order it until we got there. So anyway, we ended up going to get some food from a restaurant for me. We went back, and I don't know, maybe my energy was off, but I just wasn't feeling the date. And then we were eating at the table, surrounded by fruit flies. Fruit flies everywhere. I'm trying to eat. He got a collection of old oranges on the damn counter with fruit flies, attracting fruit flies. So I'm surrounded by fruit flies trying to eat like this. Then, and another thing, he doesn't put on a movie on TV. He puts on a series. So he puts on this series, and he's probably like a couple of seasons in, a couple of episodes in, and I'm like, just trying to, because if you're going to put on a series that I've never seen before, at least if that's what we're watching, let me see if I can learn a little bit about it. So I think I asked him a question, and he got irritated with me. Like, I think I said, is it kind of like Power, or is it like whatever my question was? And he was like, no, it's nothing like that. It's about do, do, do. So I'm like, okay, sir, let me just sit here and try to enjoy my food, keep swatting these damn fruit flies, and let's wrap this shit up so I can go on. So then another thing he did that was weird. This man asked me if I wanted something to drink. So I was like, yeah, what are the options? So he's like, I got some water or I got some soda. So then he runs downstairs and bring up some 2-liter sodas that were like all the way drank out of. And I think he was like, oh, I think this might be from the other day. It might be flat. So I was like, I'll just take water. So when I'm asking for water, I'm assuming that you're about to bring me a bottle of water. This man got a red cup, and he had a big old block of ice. His freezer, he told me that when the power went out during that hurricane from October of 2020, when the power went out, his freezer, the water, the ice melted, and then when it came back on, the power came back on, it it formed a big block of ice. So I guess he hadn't defrosted it and started all over again. So he's using this big block of ice, and he's chipping away at it with a knife. And then he grabs the ice with his hand, puts it in the cup, and puts some water in it, and then brings me the water. When I look at the water is sizzling, whatever the word is. Fizzle, sizzle. I'm not drinking the shit. So I'm like sitting here eating, thirsty, fruit flies around me, watching a show I ain't never seen before. In the house, that smell like mothballs. I think the bird's eye frozen vegetables still in the sink. So I was just through. And I'm sorry, I'm totally missing all these comments. Let me scroll back. I see your comments now. Totally irritated. And so he tells me, I don't know if he saw my facial expression or what, or if he realized that I was not drinking the water, but he's like, oh yeah, I put aloe in my water. Who told you I wanted aloe in my water? Who told you I wanted aloe juice in my water? Why would you pour something in my water that's going to create it to fizzle? And I think it was a different color. And not tell me and serve it to me, and I don't know you. So I was just super irritated. So the date ended up taking a turn for a better. It took a different direction after all of that, but I was totally done. Eventually, he asked me if I wanted to take a tour of his house, and I was thinking, not really, because for what I saw, I wasn't feeling it. Because he took me out in the back. There was patio furniture out there, but it was rusted. It was raggedy. I'm sorry, I sound mean, huh? Oh, Z-Dog say, OMG, I know your facial expressions made Buddy reconsider life. Maybe so. I'm sorry if I sound mean and judgmental. I'm really not trying to, because it's a beautiful accomplishment that he had his own house. But I'm just saying, he's presenting it to me like, let me give you a tour. Then he showed me like the rooms that were on the level that we were on. And one of the rooms that he showed me was just full of clutter, full of, I don't know if it was clean or dirty laundry. It was just shit everywhere. And I'm like, oh, okay. Then he showed me this other room that kind of had like a mattress on the floor, and it was just not giving. So I was like, is this your guest room? He was like, yeah, kind of, but I sleep down here too. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then he's like, you want to see the basement? I feel like I recently told this story too. I be telling my story time so much because I remember saying that I had just seen Girl in the Basement on Lifetime. But anyway, when we went downstairs, it was nicer. It was more modern, more upgraded down there. He had a TV, he had a bar, he had a pool table. We played pool, we played games. It was nice. It switched the tone of the whole date. But I still was not interested. But my point of bringing that up was, hold up, Z-Dog says, house tour after putting stuff in your water. He should have gone ahead and left it there. My boy, you looking like Diddy on what? Because I had just watched Girl in the Basement on Lifetime too, and I was just like, go to the basement. I was scared. I ain't gonna lie. Then I think his windows had bars on it, but I felt safe once I got down there. It was cool. But yeah, my point of saying that is I feel like, I get it. His effort was to try to, get this bag of stir fry or whatever, but I didn't receive it well because I just felt like it was a last minute thrown together thing. I feel like he didn't even go shopping. I think he just grabbed that mixed bag of mixed vegetables out of his freezer and put it in the sink and said, "This will do." And correct me if I'm wrong. I ain't never seen no bag of stir fried vegetables have no rice included in it. But y'all let me know. Maybe they got some new bird's eye packages that come with rice in the inside because he told me it had rice in it. Never heard of that. But all I'm going to say is if you're dating someone and you really trying to be intentional about them and they're vegan or they got something going on that's different than what you're used to culturally or whatever, put in real effort to accommodate that. I've dated, when I first went vegan, I was dating a non-vegan, and during that time he wanted me to cook for him. I was cooking all kind of stuff because you're who I'm dating right now, so I'm not going to force you to eat like me, even though when I first started cooking for him I did make vegan dishes and he liked them, and that's why he wanted me to cook some food that he liked, and I was hooking it up even though I couldn't eat the food. I was whatever he wanted at that point, he was getting it. He wanted meatloaf. I made homemade meatloaf, homemade mashed potatoes with the, you know, vegetables on the side. I made him homemade mac and cheese, homemade oxtails. I made him oxtails 3 times. I ain't never tried a lick of any of it. I had never even made oxtails, and he told me, or oxtail, as the Caribbean people say. I had never even made oxtail before, and he told me that it was the best he had ever had, even more than his cousin, who was like known for making the oxtail. So I just feel like if you wanted to, you would. If you have somebody in your life that you want to put the effort in to do big things for, don't do the bare minimum. And definitely don't do the bare minimum when it's your suggestion. How the hell you gonna invite me to your house to cook for me and you doing bare minimum? Like, you supposed to, if you invite somebody into your house to cook for them, you bring out all the tricks. It needs to be romantic. It needs to be candlelit. It needs to have an ambiance. It needs to have the plating, the food, the aromas need to be there as soon as I walk in, or you need to be prepping or something. And I might help you. I might be your sous chef if you need a little extra sauce or seasoning, a little feminine essence involved, with the little things. But mm-mm, mm-mm, nope. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. As you all know, I'm a life coach. I support people on their journey of healing, self-love, self-discovery. So if you would like to have a one-on-one coaching session, you can always reach me, oshacerese.com, to schedule a discovery call. You can have your strategy call as well if you are a business owner or somebody that's looking to start a business. And I can help you figure out how to monetize and utilize your gifts, how to come up with your your strategy for your content. You can, if you already know what you want to do, you can just go ahead and book the strategy session, and we're going to get you together after that one call. But if you need support with even figuring out what you want to do, you might want to get a discovery call going to see how I can support you. Um, you can always enroll in a course. One single step at a time is my 6-week healing workshop. It is guided and you'll be supported through coaching. It is all about healing, self-love, self-discovery, unpacking those childhood wounds, those the relationship baggage you keep carrying on from one relationship to the next, unpacking all of that, discovering who you are, figuring out what you like, what you want, and then preparing for the future. That is available as well. If you want something a little bit simpler, enroll in 5 Ways in 5 Days. That is a self-love workshop. It's actually supporting you with learning how to incorporate your love languages into your daily acts of self-love and self-care. And it also teaches you how to uncover whatever is blocking you from receiving and giving love. A lot of people don't realize they have blockages in those areas, and this workshop helps you to uncover those and discover those. And it can be done in as little as 5 days, but you can also take your time with that as well. What else I got? If you're not ready for coaching, you're not ready for a course, grab you a guided journal. How to Beat Single is also available at oshacerese.com. How to Beat Single is giving you all the tools and really exercises and prompts that are included with the One Single Step at a Time workshop. But you're just self-paced. You're on your own. You can do it on your own time. And also with the 5 Ways in 5 Days, the one that can be done in as little as 5 days, that comes along with one free coaching session. So take advantage of that. Again, if you are in the Atlanta area and you are looking for love, or you want to find you a Valentine, pull up at Lantucky this Wednesday. Vegan and Friends is from 5 to 10. We're speed dating upstairs from 7 to 9. Vegan and Friends at Lantucky, 7 to 9 in the Atlanta area. And if you would like to join the Intentional Love Collective, a growing community and database for intentional daters, hopeful romantics, people looking for love in 2025, DM me, comment, or email me at oshacerese@gmail.com, intentional love, and I will send you the form. Z Dog says, I love your face on my screen, such a lovely woman. Thank you. And if you all have any letters that you want to write me, that you want me to help you unpack on the Osha Cerese Show, you can be anonymous. You can also send those to oshacerese@gmail.com. Send me any feedback. You can comment it as well. Any feedback, any comments, questions, concerns, or anything you would like to share, you can comment it. And make sure you are subscribed. youtube.com/@OshaCerese, and turn your notifications on, because you don't know what time I might pop up on your screen. I hope you all really enjoyed this episode. I'm going to leave you with a journal prompt as well. The journaling prompt of the evening. What did I write down? Recall a time when someone made a significant effort for you. How did it make you feel? How do you communicate your needs and expectations regarding effort? How do you communicate your needs and expectations regarding effort? That's a good one. Because sometimes the people just don't know what's your standards. I don't really like to use expectations, so I'm going to switch that to standards. What are your standards when it comes to the effort? And are you able to communicate when someone is not meeting those standards, and give them the opportunity to switch it up? Because sometimes you're not interested, so you're not even worried about communicating it. Or maybe you communicate it after you've already parted ways, like, this is why I did that. But if you find, I don't like to use the word potential either, but if you see something in this person and you want to build on it, you want to see where it goes, you want to, continue to date them, you have to be open and willing and able to communicate your needs and give them an opportunity to meet them. So if that's something you need support with, you need to also book a session, oshacerese.com. But anyway, thank you all for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. I thought this was going to be a quick show, because I really, I really was kind of tired today, and I was, I didn't really prepare much, but it ended up flowing nicely. So I appreciate y'all for being here with me live, for those that are live, and for those who watch the playback. Thank you for joining and tuning in, and I will talk to you all later. Cheers.